The following exclusive Metal Express radio interview is endorsed by TLGCanada.com, where you can order all of your cigar accessories. Visit MetalExpressRadio.com for more interviews and to stream the best metal radio on the net.
Kip, I've been following Winger on Facebook, and you've been busy touring a lot. And all of a sudden, I see you're going to do some solo acoustic gigs in Europe. Busy days.
You know, I base it off of my annual Kip Winger acoustic show at the Borderline every year in London. So this is the third year I've done it. So when I come over to do it, I try to book some gigs around it so the tour will pay for itself. It's really based around the third annual Kip Winger. Next year it'll be the fourth. So. And you know, the thing is I get offers when people hear I'm coming. I get a lot of offers for them to come play. So, which is amazing because I mean, it's when people are asking you to come play, that's a gift as a musician. So, I strung like 3 weeks together and started in Helsinki. Now Sweden, Ireland, London, Denmark. But I mean, I turned down. I'm going to come back in April because I turned down so many of them. A lot of Eastern Europe, and then some of them Spain and Portugal and stuff like that.
Is the Winger tour having a break, or are you finished?
No, it's just a break. I mean, I should have probably planned it better, but this was already scheduled when we set the schedule for the record for the band, so it's okay because Rod's having a little difficulty with his shoulder, so it's going to give him a little rest. And Reb's working on the new Whitesnake album, so it's actually good. They've got some time to do that, and I'm forging ahead on my acoustic thing, trying to learn some new songs so people that have seen me before don't have to listen to the same old crap.
I witnessed your show a couple of days ago here in Oslo, and it was just excellent, a great experience, and it seems like you're having a great time too. And there's a reason for you doing this.
So much fun, dude. When the audience is like that, it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing to travel around the world and have people sing your songs. I mean, that's just amazing to me. I would have never... you always, the thing is, like, if you write, like, a big hit, of course everybody's going to sing it, But these, people were singing all the outtake stuff, like some of the other stuff that nobody knows about. So it's very gratifying. I feel very grateful that there's a lot of people that come. It's not, it's not a lot of people, but the people are into it, and that's what makes it fun.
And there is this interaction with the audience. You get close to the audience, and it was almost like a stand-up show sometimes.
Yeah, it's become that more and more over the years. When I started this, it was 1996, and it was like full-on Beavis and Butthead. Couldn't get a gig, and I did This Conversation Seems Like a Dream, and the only way I could promote it. The only way I could promote it was to go out and do acoustic performances, but the only gigs I could get were at a bookstore called Borders Books, which is now out of business. But so I did about 30 Borders Books around the country where I just went in at like 4 p.m. in the afternoon and today Kip Winger's going to play. And I only played like 4 or 5 songs. And then I talked about whatever and met some people and signed some autographs and stuff. And I got so many requests during that time to keep doing more songs that it slowly developed into an hour and a half or 2 hour thing. And I'm always, trying to come up with new arrangements for the acoustic stuff. But I mean, I was like browbeaten into feeling like, my whole performance element that I did with Winger in the pre-90s was gone. It was like, all the David Lee Roth kind of vibe on stage. That was all gone, man, because, when that all happened, I kind of was like, wow, it was difficult to even walk on stage for a while. You know, because it was like, you know, you kind of got, it was like, I mean, all the 80s bands got made fun of, but we got a little extra, and it was a little bit like, kind of like I was a little apologetic to be on stage. You know, like, sorry, it's me, you know. And there's a whole list of psychological reasons why that was okay that happened. For one, being the biggest reason, which is I went back to the drawing board and I've basically wiped the slate clean for everything I learned and rewrote everything that I know. You know, I completely reinvented the way I write music. So I had a lot of time to do that, and I'm a way better musician for it. So I guess things happen for a reason. And, you know, the stand-up thing is just funny. I like to be funny. I mean, I like people, especially at the gigs, you know, people say stupid shit and I say stupid shit back. And, you know, the thing is people think I'm gonna go in there with my hair sprayed up and spandex pants and, like, be an asshole, the Kip Winger, you know, like, that is so not me. I'm just a musician trying to get better. And I have fun and make jokes, and, you know, it's just don't take it too seriously, kind of.
Well, there's obviously a lot of hits you have to play. Can you turn every Winger track into an acoustic version if you have time to rehearse?
I've been trying to. There's some that just don't work. I mean, somebody was saying "Come a Little Closer" the other night.
I did.
Oh, was that you? Sorry. Okay, right. That would be really difficult to do that. But maybe I could try it. I mean, it's really just a matter of time. That's one of my favorite tracks we've ever written, by the way. Some of them are just too difficult. Some of the voicings to get it really working just don't work that well. Or else I'm just technically not proficient enough to play it. Like the riff in Rat Race is something that Reb has this very interesting way that he uses his right hand, or his right hand. It's not so easy, you know. So, you know, it's a work in progress.
Have you always been playing the acoustic guitar? You're obviously a talented guitar player as well.
Thanks. Well, I grew up like playing Neil Young, you know, when I was a kid. So, old man, look at my life. You know, that was really my thing. So, I was very into 6-string acoustic when I was a kid, and just, you know, living it, man. You know, really just believing it, and just, you know, everything was music. So, you know, I was a good acoustic guitar player. I'm not a lead player at all. I said that the other night. I mean, I couldn't play a lead to save my life. It would have to be written. I'd have to, you know. So improvisation is not my thing. You know, I developed a 12-string thing because it had a bigger sound, and I was doing a solo acoustic thing, and I just thought, you know, I could pull it off better with a bigger sound. And I studied classical guitar when I was a kid, so I do this kind of weird classical guitar thing with a 12-string. I don't know anyone else that does it, so it's kind of unique. Not everything I do is unique, but there's a couple songs that I do that are, you know, Free and Spell 'Em Under and Cross. Those songs are done in a way that I've never seen anybody play the 12-string. I don't practice, though. I should. I'd be a lot better if I practiced, like, more chops, you know. Well, very, very good friend of mine is this classical guitar player named Mike Chapdelaine. And you can see him on Facebook. He's very popular. Amazing guy. I should take some lessons from him. He's one of my best friends. But I don't have enough time.
When you write music for yourself or for Winger, do you play the acoustic guitar then, or do you use electric guitar or bass?
I'd never pick up the guitar for Winger. I mean, rarely. Like, if I'm trying to work with Reb in the studio, you could see this on the making ofs. You know, like, especially the Better Days Coming making of. I'll grab a guitar and try a riff or something like that. I've always got one on hand to see it. But mostly, I hear it in my head and I go, I'll say to Reb, like, Reb usually comes up with the seed idea riffs. I'll go do something to this beat or try this scale, and then he'll come up with a riff, and then we'll go from there. And then if I'm hearing something, I'll just explain it to him. And I'll literally pick my guitar up and just go blah, 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 with no notes, but show him the way I want it to look and sound. And then he'll like fill the notes in and stuff. Because any composer will tell you that a musical instrument will slow you down. You know? You pick up the piano and, oh, the piano sounds so vibey, and then you get into it and it completely takes you away from the composition.
Right.
And I was talking to another friend of mine the other day, this monstrous composer, jazz pianist named Billy Childs. And we talk about composing because he's an amazing classical composer. He's mostly known for his jazz, but he's a bad motherfucker, dude. And he was saying that, you know, he doesn't like to compose at the piano because it slows him down, you know. Everybody I know would say that. You know, you just kind of grab it and go, oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then you kind of try to fill the notes. Unless you're, you know, Chopin or something, where that was the thing, you know, like piano was the center of your music, so you sit there and play the music. There's really no composers like that left, you know. And if they are, they're schmaltzy guys, you know, like it's not cutting edge music. It's just, it sounds like elevator music.
Seems like your comeback with Winger has been quite successful. I mean, you made brilliant albums and you're touring a lot.
Thank you. Well, listen, I think the success of the band is solely based on the fact that we continually put out high-level qualities of music, because I'm a real asshole when it comes to, you know, the idea of making a record. I hold and revere in such high regard that I get insulted by when I hear music that it's predictable and I know what's coming next, and it's, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, I just get pissed off because I'm like, if you're really going to do this, I mean, you got to really do it, you know. So I mean, I try to make the productions. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I'm just saying that's my opinion. You know, I just try to keep the highest level of all aspects: playing, recording, engineering, mixing, mastering, songwriting, lyrics, everything. And I think that is why. I mean, think of it this way: if I put out a shitty album this time, if Karma was shitty, why nobody would care. They'd be like, "Oh, this is just a shitty record. These guys don't have it anymore." But you put the record on, it's like, "Wow, this is good." So then you're still relevant. You know, that's the only way to do it. And the sad part is that they don't sell. And so bands are going, "Well, they don't sell, so why put anything into it?" You know. So they just put it out with one good song and the rest of it's shit, and it's like a piece of merchandise that they use as a vehicle to sell shit. And I think that's the biggest downfall of so many bands, because the thing is that I might have said this to you, so stop me if I'm being redundant, but the emotion of the music is what will captivate the audience. It's the only connection possibility you have. You're not going to gain masses of fans by a cool T-shirt design. I mean, you're just not going to do it. So I mean, you gotta put they got this is time. People don't have much time, so when they're going to listen to your music, it better be fucking good, you know. And that's where I'm coming from. I mean, and I don't hit the mark every time, dude. I'm like, I got a lot of stuff that's not so great. I try not to publish that.
Was it hard to follow up Karma? I mean, that was such a brilliant album, and your new one is great as well. But did you feel any pressure?
Well, you know what? It's funny because we felt like, okay, we nailed Karma. People loved it, so we got nothing to prove. That's how Reb and I started.
Yep.
We let's do this and make it cool and do what we want to do and make it, you know, good, but we don't feel like we want to have to prove anything. And so what ended up happening was that Better Days Coming, in my mind, is like a best of Winger, but it's all new music.
Yep.
So it's like every aspect of what we do is on that album. It's got the heavy rock, like Stone Cold Killer, Madeleine vibe, like Midnight Driver. And then you got the ballad like Ever Wonder, and then you have the prog element, Tin Soldier, and you have a lot of cool solos, double solos, great drumming. This is so from my point of view, it's really like a best of, and it's different than Karma. It's a little more eclectic than Karma. I think it's kind of a cross between the first 3 records. Actually, it's kind of something like that. Yeah. And a lot of the other thing about our music is that it grows on you. It really, from what this is what people tell me is like, they listen to it, and then five or six listens in, if you can get them to listen that many times, it all of a sudden becomes this other thing. And they like it. So
you made like 4 videos from the album, right?
Yeah.
It's quite a lot. Is that the record company pushing you or feeding you with money?
No, man. I did that. I took it out of the budget they gave us. Mm-hmm. And I did that because I wanted to do that. Because I thought the only vehicle for this industry now is like YouTube and that. And this is funny actually, because you gotta turn this off. You gotta pause this. You can't record this. I have to tell you something.
Okay.
Pause. I don't want it anyway. But I mean, it's not expensive to do a video now. You can get really good camera quality, and I hire a crew of guys, and I'll hire them all day and find 3 locations and do the footage to 3 videos in one day, and then I'll have, maybe I got a guy that I've worked with on videos ever since. Well, from the beginning of my career. I mean, I grew up with him. This guy named Dan Hupp, who he directed Who's the One, and I met him when I was 5 years old, so he's an amazing editor and a director, and I just sent it to him, and like he'll go out and shoot. He went out and shot all that stuff on Tin Soldier. That was actually his son. And like the camera, dude, the camera that we used on Tin Soldier, it's a Canon D70. It's the first true autofocus camera. It's fucking $1,400, dude. I mean,
unbelievable.
And it fucking looks amazing. So, this shit's not expensive. You just have to have ideas, and you got to make it. You got to do the work. I mean, okay, Beyonce makes, she could spend, umpteen hundreds of thousands of dollars doing her thing, but even she is not spending anywhere near what somebody like Madonna spent, because the technology is just in favor of us,
Totally. So like you go check out YouTube to see the number of views on your videos every now and then?
Rarely. Every once in a while we just released Better Days Coming, the video, and I was on the fence about it because we were just taking the piss out of ourselves when we did that video, and I was curious to see if people liked it or not.
It's kind of a feel-good
Totally,
video.
it's just kind of funny. It's kind of ironic, actually. That's where I was coming from with the song. But I mean, it only had one everybody liked it. There was one that thumbs down on there, but I think that's a really strong song. It's just kind of out of character for us. But mine and Reb's point of view on that was our answer to Down Incognito. We literally said, man, we need another Down Incognito. So we wrote Better Days Coming. That's the answer to it. The sequel, so to speak.
So we'll see 4 videos of your next album as well, then, I guess.
I mean, I'd make a video for every song if I had the time. Tin Soldier's coming out at some point, but we don't know when. Mm-hmm. I'd like to make So Long China and Ever Wonder. I'd still like to do that. Because I think the best vehicle to promote your stuff is just doing a video. I mean, people are just used to seeing something and hearing it.
Yeah. You said during your gig that you quit drinking to keep your voice in shape. I think your voice is almost better than ever.
Thank you.
Is that's just? Do you feel that your voice is changing? I mean, it has obviously changed since the first albums. But
oh yeah, big time. Singing is torture for me. I mean, singing does not come naturally to me, dude. I mean, I have to warm up and stress on it, and it's you know, you see some people can just sing like a bird. It just comes naturally, and you know, like Mickey Thomas. John Roth plays in Starship, so you know, Mickey Thomas has a glass of wine before the gig, no problem. I mean, you know, alcohol dries you out, and it just completely rips my throat apart. But some people can just do it. I don't get it. I wish I was one of them. But so it's torturous for me to sing. I was totally stressing the other night because you never really know what's going to come out. And ironically, it's much easier for me to do a band gig where I'm like singing really high because I can kind of just go up there and let it sit. But when I have to do the acoustic gig, there's a lot of lower register stuff where I have to jump from high to low. Right. It's very, very difficult. For me, it is. I mean, I don't consider myself to be a great singer.
Really?
No, not at all. I mean, I stress on it so hard, dude. Only my wife knows how bad I stress on it. I mean, it's torture. I mean, it's when it's working right, it's ecstasy. But I mean, you know, my instrument is not one of those instruments that you can get up and running to. I'm like a Model T, dude. You got to get the fucking warmed up and crank the engine and get it all going. I mean, it's tough.
I can't imagine Winger without your voice. I mean, it's a trademark.
Well, thank you. I mean, listen, I was never a lead singer before this band. I was in a band with my two brothers and Peter Fletcher, and the four of us sang. We all sang lead. Each guy in the band could have been a lead singer. So we like the Eagles. I mean, one guy take one, the other guy take one. So when we got in Winger, Reb didn't really sing. So it was like, okay, I guess I'm singing. And I literally, we did the first record, and I was literally staring at myself in the mirror because there was a mirror. Because I'm such a fucking egomaniac now. We were in an apartment recording the demos, and I would go in the bedroom to do the vocals, and like the whole closet had a mirror, and I remember looking at myself while I was singing something like Madeleine or 17, one of the big ones, thinking I'll never be able to do this live. You know, that's what I was thinking when we cut that shit. I was thinking, but my voice. I'm actually a baritone. I sing all this tenor stuff. My voice doesn't really kick into rock, you know, like rock sound until I'm way up there, you know. And so that's where the sound comes from, but it's completely unnatural. A guy like Eric Martin can just fucking pound it out, no problem. But yeah, sure. Ronnie James Dio could sing like a bird till the day he died. So, yeah. I mean, Don Dokken is another one, man. Don smokes and drinks too much. If he quit all that shit, Don, I'm gonna be your rehab coach, and then I'm gonna sing you back into the beautiful young voice that you have. Oh, man, he had a classic rock voice. You know, he needs to quit drinking, man. Sorry, Don. I love you like a brother. I really do love Don Dokken.
He used to be great. He did.
He still is great. He just needs to. He needs to get off all the booze and the cigs and stuff, because his voice would come back. It's tragic. I mean, like look at Janie Lane. There it ends up. You know, you end up dead in the shitty hotel. Yeah. I was like, fuck, I'm never gonna let that happen to me. That's another reason why I quit drinking, because I'm never gonna be the guy on stage where it's like, God, look what happened to him. You know, it's gonna be, fuck, this guy still does it, rocks it, man. You know, and the music gets better till the day I die, or else kill me now.
You have obviously met a lot of musicians during your career. Do you keep in touch with a lot of other bands and artists playing hard rock these days?
Well, I see them on like the 80s guys, I always see at all the shows, you know, like Firehouse, Warrant, Slaughter, Great White, Cinderella. We see each other at a lot of these shows, so we're all good friends. I consider us to be good friends. I don't know what they think of me, but and then, you know, we open for people like Sammy Hagar. I mean, Sammy Hagar, I can't say there's not enough good things in the world you could say about Sammy Hagar. He's the nicest, most generous, talented, incredible singer to this day, dude.
Yeah.
That guy is the shit. So I don't know him well. I'd like to know him better. I mean, we're very nice. You know, he's very nice to me. Extremely generous guy. You know, Michael Anthony. These guys were my heroes when I was a kid. So it's a little different. I mean, these guys were the guys that were, you know, running the show when I was coming up. So Alice, I'm good friends with Alice. Kane Roberts and I talk 3 or 4 times a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, he's the funniest motherfucker you'll ever know. He's so smart, dude.
What is he up to these days?
He's doing a bunch of different stuff. He does a lot of film writing and graphic design. He still does music. He's working on he's actually doing a video for a song that he wrote back in the Alice days. I sang on it, and he's doing a video for it and stuff. You know, Ken Mary. Yeah, I mean, I do actually. I stay in touch. And then younger guys that I knew coming up, like Jason Hook. You know, I wasn't totally good friends with Jason, but we know each other pretty well. He's a fucking amazing talent, and I sang on something for him. I don't know if he put a solo record out. I saw a blurb on it. I sang Big Time by Peter Gabriel for him, like a heavy metal version.
Oh, cool.
That was a while back. You know, Bruce Kulick. You know, most of the guys I really became friends with on Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. You know, we were all like, you know, we got to know each other. So.
Do you read the biographies coming out now, or a bunch of musicians writing books?
No. I read Ravel, Stravinsky, Rachmaninoff. Those are the bios I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Liszt. I don't find rock. I live I live in parallel to those lives. I mean, I don't think there's anything in there that would be so amazing for me, you know. And then I'd be like, wow. I mean, I guess. Listen, I was always on the other side of the fence from the guys who did heroin and stuff, you know. So when they go, man, I OD'd 3 times and I was clinically dead. My mind processes that like, God, you're a stupid fucking idiot. Like, that's just dumb, you know. So why you know, brag about how stupid you are, you know? It's like, I don't get it. You know, I don't get that whole thing.
What is it like traveling on your own instead of being with a band these days? Yeah.
Look at this. Sun, tea, friendship, awesome town. This is what it is. It's the only thing bad about traveling alone, like I'm doing 3 weeks, so about like, you know, day 7, I'll start talking to myself and stuff. You know, so you start to have these really weird conversations with yourself. That's the only downfall.
Do you think your hard rock fans listening to this should check out your classical stuff?
It's really interesting. I just read an article on how classical musicians and heavy metal musicians are very similar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually think so. I mean, not everybody's going to get it. Because a lot of people they want a chorus melody to sing to, and they want, you know, this thing. But if you know me and you like my music, I mean, the classical music that I'm doing is the furthest extension of where I've gone with music, you know. So it's way more complex and way more in detail and way more evolved and way more all that stuff than anything I'm doing in the rock world. So think of it like, you know, beaming yourself right into my life up to date, you know. That's what it would be like. But it's a different side of my soul, and it's a more true place in me, actually. Because the older I get, the more I express myself just in simple, you know, my thing is like seeing the architecture of the music, you know, and trying to make really, you know, sound architecture and emotional content for a piece of music. So it kind of transcends the genre. So the one thing, you know, in classical music that I'm looking for myself as a composer is that a lot of classical composers they don't have the background I have, and they don't rock. The very few of them really know what it even means to rock to a Marshall, you know. So, and the extension of that difficulty is that the musicians that grew up only doing classical music don't feel it, you know. So it's hard to get them to, you know, for example, the opening cello line in the beginning of this one piece I wrote, this piece called Conversations with Djinski, it's a riff, it's a rock riff. The cello line's a rock riff. It's you know, it's like it should be thought of as a riff.
How did you write it? Was that on a bass or a guitar? Or
I kind of just heard it and pounded the notes out on the keyboard.
Yeah.
It took me a while, actually. I'm trying to bring in a little bit more like oomph. It's difficult, especially because I don't really know the language so well yet.
Sure. Your at least one of your pieces is available now on CD and for download, maybe iTunes.
I took it off actually because San Francisco Ballet Orchestras were planning a recording of the two pieces, and it'll be a much more clear and precise presentation of the music. That's what we're planning on recording, so I'll probably put that out next summer.
Excellent. So what are your immediate plans after this solo tour? Will you keep on touring with Winger or having a break?
Yeah, no, I get back and 5 days later we got a gig somewhere in the States, and we gig through, we're going to Japan in November, and I'll probably take some of December off and then go, you know, we have gigs through January, February, and then back to solo gigging. I'm coming over here to do, well, I'm doing the rock and roll, the cruise, the Monsters of Rock cruise acoustic. And, you know, I'm probably going to come back over here solo just to pick up some of the gigs that I missed while I was over here this time. I'm probably going to try to get Reb in the studio before he goes out with Whitesnake to knock out, you know, 10 more tunes for another record. It won't be finished, but I'll try to get that underway so it doesn't take another 5 years. And I've got all the music kind of laid out for my new solo album. It's
really,
yeah. I've been collecting all the ideas I've been writing over the last. Well, I mean, it's been 6 years. 2008. Yeah.
Are those ideas too mellow, or they don't fit Winger? Or
I think not. I mean, a lot of people that know me well know that I have three distinct personalities in music. The Winger brand, which is basically me and Reb like rocking it, and well, of course, Rod has been, you know, the band. I'm just talking about like writing, but and then the solo music, which is very different. It's like the experimental. I don't know how you would compare it to anything. In my mind, I'm doing more of like a Peter Gabriel approach, where it's like a lot of experimental content and bring in the really amazing players and stuff to, like, I'll bring in like a really great player and just let them do whatever they want.
Yep.
And then I'll just take the best stuff, you know. I never do email music.
no,
I never.
you're all in the studio.
It's always. I'm never not in the studio with one of my musicians.
Guess that makes it a bit more expensive.
It makes it more expensive, but it's like you know, I just don't like the okay, shoot me what you got, man. You know, because I'm like everything has to be composed, kind of. Even though I let them improvise, it's kind of I'm like I'll be guiding them. And, perhaps I'm a control freak, but it's really just it's about what I'm hearing. You know, so. Yeah. And then the classical music being the third. You know, the classical music is. I've been like Hansel and Gretel, man. I've been dropping crumbs as a trail towards where I'm going ever since the string quartet on the beginning of Hungry. You know, from way back then, it was like, I'm going to compose classical music. I just didn't know how I was going to get it done. You know? So from that to Rainbow in the Rose, and then, you know, stuff on my solo record, I've been gradually, you know, trying to develop the talent to write legitimate orchestra music, not, you know, poppy, fake orchestral music, not like bad Hollywood score music. I'm talking about like legitimate concert music. So if you see it, like, if you look at how you'd have to see my thing is like, if I threw a stone that way, the classical music would be the stone forging itself ahead, and in the ripple effect and trail would be the band and my solo stuff. Because I mean, that's where my head is. Everybody else is kind of catching up to it because they don't live in my head. So
Right.
I don't mean to sound pretentious. I'm just kind of giving you a clear picture of what's happening in me with regards to the music.
Do you ever take a break from music, or is this just...
No, I don't. My wife, she's kind of bumming on me. No, she's a musician too, so she really gets it, so it's fine. I'm kind of making a joke, but yeah, I mean, I'll take a day or two, but I mean, I've got so much shit on my plate. I'm 53, man. I got a lot of shit to do before I'm dead, musically, so it would have to be a fantastical experience for me to not do music for a week. I'd have to be like, walk the Great Wall of China or something like that, to really like put it down. Because, it's just always on. It's like a faucet running in my head. Like, I never have to try to wonder what I'm going to do. It's always like wondering when I'm going to get to it. It's always like, it's a loud noise in my head.
The exclusive Metal Express radio interview you just heard was endorsed by TLGCanada.com, where you can order all of your cigar accessories. Visit MetalExpressRadio.com for more interviews and to stream the best metal radio on the net.